Hello, everybody. Good evening. Happy Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? I don't even know what day it is. I think it's Tuesday. Anyway, uh, yeah, we're here for another round of Art Throwdown. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we meet Monday through Wednesday, weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern. So, my co pilot Russell's coming in. Hello.
Hello,
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fantabulous. How are you?
I'm doing well myself. I am ready for some crafting.
I'm ready to turn up the volume here, so let me.
Okay. All right. I'm going to grab my more of my circles.
Oh, the things we do for our crafty people, you
You
know?
know, wow. All right. So some folks just popped in here. I see Phil and Pam and Nan, Anna, and that's all I see so far. I shouldn't say that's all I see. That is who I see. I'm
There you
sure
go. I
there will
like that better.
I'm sure there will be more popping in throughout the hour. So thank you guys for joining and good evening. Yeah.
So, first of all, I want to do a shout out to Nan and her Frida postcard. Have you seen that yet?
No, I have not.
It is amazing.
Did she make it?
She did.
Ah.
It is Frida Kahlo and the monkeys, and she
Oh
did some
my
paper cuts.
God. Okay.
Yeah, you have to see it. So yes,
All right. I'm going to check out, Nan. I'm
props.
checking your feed out as soon as I'm done
Yeah.
here tonight. I'm going to check this out.
Um, so Nan's here, Anna's here. Oh, you're good. You're getting dressed again.
It's
Means it must be cold.
chilly.
Is it?
It's chilly in
It's
here.
muggy and hot here. Phil is
Uh,
here. Pam is here. Carrie is here.
cool.
Zoe is here.
Hey, guys.
But I have to do that, Nan. I wasn't a. I've never really been a big fan of Frida. So, and then when I did the looking at stamps Frida episode, started to get a better appreciation, especially once I found out she was married to that crazy man, Diego Rivera.
Yes, yes, she
Uh,
was.
yeah, and so and then got a new appreciation of her art. But I did want to give you that shout out because it was really a special postcard. I want to give you props for that.
Cool. All right. Well, Nan, I'm going to check that out later on as soon as as soon as we hang up here in our little Instagram feed. I'm going to check that out. That sounds super cool. Cool. Well, so from this is a little bit of a throwback from last night, but I right now am going to be putting some glitter acrylic on this postcard from yesterday. And then I have a whole nother bunch of circles. So I am going to be making yet another circle postcard. So,
Well, save some of those, or at least use this for Friday when I announce Fridays
okay. Well, I
postcard
could always
challenge.
punch out more
Yeah.
circles.
Yep.
There's no shortage of scraps
Yep.
here. So I think that's what I'll
Jim's on
do.
board. Hello, Jim. Welcome.
Hello.
So I had a day full of successes
Okay.
and failures.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's been a mixed bag all day today. But
Do you want to talk about it?
well, I'm going to show you one of the things that went really well, though.
Yes, let's see it, man.
So I have a customer. Well, I have a friend whose daughter is left-handed, and she's having difficulty dealing with that. So she's 10.
Okay.
So she's in that awkward stage. And so they asked me if I would do a book for her, a journal,
A left-handed
uh,
journal?
a left-handed journal. Yes.
I like it.
So, and she's a huge Harry Potter fan.
Okay.
So is everyone ready?
We are ready.
That is her left-handed journal.
Oh my goodness. It's got a giant eyeball. I like the eyeball. It really gives it
Well,
character.
it gets better. So, Patty Whack, welcome, joined.
Hello?
And so it opens to the left. It is a Coptic stitch book. Um, So she is a budding artist. So she wanted a sketchbook. So this is sketch paper. But because it's a Coptic stitch, it means it opens flat. So when it opens flat,
Oh my
that's what you get.
gosh, that is so cool. I love the little monster eyes. That has
Yeah.
such character.
So it's a throwback to that monster book, that monster spells book in Harry Potter.
Yup.
Yeah. So
That is
that's
cool.
that's what I did today.
So that was your
So
successful
this,
project, I take it.
yes.
Looks great. It almost, it's almost reminiscent of the white dragon Falcor from the Neverending Story. If you put that back up for a second, it's channeling a little bit of Falcor
Oh,
as
really?
well
I don't
too.
know what that is. So
You never saw the movie The Neverending Story?
never.
Oh my God. Okay, quintessential 80s movie. I want to say it came out in 84 or 85 maybe. Maybe 85. Go watch it. It that was one of those movies, like I put it up on the same pedestal as I put like Labyrinth up on.
Okay.
It's like
Now I enjoyed that,
fantasy,
but
sci-fi.
I haven't even seen Princess Bride either, and people tell me I'm not a human
I've
because I
only
haven't
seen
seen it.
parts of it. I can't
Okay.
sit for the whole thing.
Okay.
So not all the jokes, like people drop quotes from it and I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
I only catch some of them.
So is Ashley here yet?
I have not seen her
Okay, no
arrive.
worries. It's just because I'm doing envelopes.
Oh, by the way, Phil is interested in learning how to make the envelopes too. And actually, one thing I forgot to mention, Phil is interested in a supplies starter pack. So, like, if he were to start in theory making lined envelopes, like, what would he need? My recommendation always for anything paper related, Phil, if you don't already have one of these, get yourself one of these Fiskars portable paper cutters. This will give you some good mileage paper wise, and you can use it for lots of stuff. You can cut postcards, cut cardstock, cut scrapbook paper, envelope liners. Like you can cut, it cuts. So that's number one. I would say
And when you
yeah, go
and
ahead.
when you get that, get extra blades as well. Buy
Yes,
them up
they
front.
run out, and the thicker the
Yeah.
cardstock, or that like if you're cutting cardboard or like cereal boxes, those blades will run out pretty quickly. They'll get dulled. So order the extra. If it comes like as an adjacent product, just buy the bundle and get the extra blades up front. That way you have them. So that's number one. And then number two, I was going to say definitely get the We Are Memory Keepers. I don't know, makers, keepers. I always say makers. We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch board. And that one you can get straight off Amazon. So those two would be the things I would start with. And then we can kind of, obviously we can walk you through the process from there.
And then you need paper and or cardstock. So
Yes.
you either buy a paper pack or cardstock pack. Buy a bundle of that as well, and work with colors that you like, and
Yep.
you can start there, and you can always get more. So,
And
but you're gonna need something.
yeah, and I started with I think a 12 by 12 inch big pad of scrapbook paper, like assorted
Right,
colors, and just
right.
start from there. And as long as it's like a decent weight paper, you can line the envelope, and then you'll have yourself a very sturdy envelope.
So Frank is here. Welcome.
Hey,
Mail Some
Frank.
Smiles is here. Welcome.
I just want to actually let me shout out to Frank really quick. I listened to Frank's, I think it was the September 1st podcast from his Postcardist podcast the other night. So I listened to that for the first time. And Russ, I think that was the Russ Romano jazz session that you guys both did. So
Okay.
I listened to his show for the first time and it was a lot of fun. I was like out in my garden, in my zone, like listening. And Russ, I got to agree with you. Frank has a definite radio voice. It's
Oh,
very interesting. So I'm like,
so
I want a radio voice too. How do I get
well,
that?
and keep in mind that season two, he's preparing for season two right now.
Cool.
So yeah, that's going to happen. And so I think Frank, you said next week maybe is your first interview with Mark Roush. But yeah, cool.
Cool.
So the other thing that I am going to be working on today are envelopes, uh, but this is a little bit different. So oh, Frank said new show tomorrow. Great.
Yay! I can't wait. I'll have to watch it drop. I'll wait for it.
Jim is episode 60. Ashley is an episode as well. So Jim is promoting his podcast with Frank. So
excellent. All right, I'm going to
have a
tune
lot of
into that
friends
one
that
too.
are on Frank's podcast.
Yeah. Any of you guys who have been already interviewed, I want to know what episode number that is so I can tune in specifically. So I'm like, I got to listen to the Russ one first, obviously.
Well, there are 5 of them, so you picked a good one to start with. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to have the numbers memorized, but they have faded from memory as my star has waned. So,
okay.
But I am looking for avenues to send out postcards. So what I am doing is this particular fold. This is called a Mennonite fold. I have no idea why it's called that. But yeah, so you take an 8.5 by 11 paper and you fold it, and then it folds in such a way that you can put a stamp in the top right corner, and that's what seals the envelope.
Really?
Yeah.
So no, are there any cuts involved in that?
No, it's all folded. So Nick has joined Rockabilly. Nick, welcome.
Hello.
So I'll unfold it. And so once again, this is a way for me to send out a postcard.
Wow.
Or just, if you have a 4x6, this is 4x6, a 4x6 card that you want to send out. And so that's the way that it works.
Wow. Okay. So I'm going to have to go back to this episode and take a look at how you did that.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm going to reverse engineer that. That's interesting.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, remember how I said I had these little bitty squares?
Yes.
So I have adjusted the size so that I could send these out and use these as little note cards as well. And it's the same thing. This would be on the inside.
Okay.
And then for those of you who need money envelopes for special occasions, for birthdays, for Hanukkah, for whatever those situations that you need a money envelope and don't have one at hand, I've changed the dimensions so that you could do one of those as well.
Excellent. Excellent. So are you going to be teaching us how to make those, Russ?
No, I'm just showing tell.
All right. So I'm hearing a challenge in there. We're going to have to figure that out.
I'm teasing. Yeah, of course, I'm going to show you how to do it. So. Phil says he likes heating with Jim and Frank.
Like, what are you, a gecko?
Yeah.
Like,
so,
I like lying under my little heat lamp on my rock.
Yeah. No, he
all warm-blooded like.
Hearing. So yeah. So
I like heating with Jim.
Okay. Okay. So we are going to start off with the 4x6 card. 4x6 envelope. So all you need is just regular paper. And this is 8.5 by 11. And so if you have a ruler, you can use that. I have this little grid ruler. Mail Some Smile says Mennonites used to save paper, not to have to use 2 pieces of paper for the envelope and the writing. So yeah, I thought it was something like that, but thank you.
I appreciate the frugality of the Mennonites. Like, go Mennonites! Yeah. Thank you. If you guys are watching, thank you.
They're not deaf. They can hear you. You don't have to whisper.
It's going to be a squirrely evening already. I can just tell.
Patty Wax says they were green before it was cool. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're going to take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. You want to put the design. Empire Explorer has joined. Welcome.
Hello, Empire Explorer. And by the way, I love your feed. I think if you are the feed that I'm thinking of, you guys put a lot of cool photos up of historical places in New York. So big props. I've definitely watched some of your stuff and have looked at your historic photos. So thanks for joining.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I don't know if I'm following you yet, but if it's New York based, I probably will be. Mail Some Smile says her father grew up Mennonite, and he would enjoy your humor. So
That is cool. Janet, I did not know that about you. That is a very interesting factoid. Cool.
So I love my little grid ruler, as you know. So what you're going to do is you're going to measure 1.5 inches from the side, and you're going to fold the top right corner until it meets that area. It's easy to do it with the ruler because you want to make sure that this edge is parallel to this. And that is really the only measurement you have. The other thing I would suggest that you do is if you're going to put a card in it or something to have it available, it just makes it a little bit easier for the measurement. And then you're going to take the bottom left-hand corner and you're going to fold it so that it meets, you see, am I in camera? Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
To where it meets that fold you just made. So the thing to keep in mind is that this is going to be the width of your card. So now's the time to do a quick measurement to see if it's going to fit. It's just barely going to fit. I could adjust this if I really wanted to. Just move this out a little bit, but we'll be fine. So, and then what you're going to do is you're going to put this towards the bottom corner. And what you want to do is you want to move this up until it's just past the top edge of your card. So that's why having your whatever you're going to put in it available. But if not, this is about 3/4 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch from the bottom.
And apologize in advance for my camera issues. I'm having a case of the wobbles tonight.
Okay,
so,
no worries.
You know, trying to get it to.
Better your camera than your knees.
I am. It is balancing now precariously on a bottle of Mod Podge. So let's hope it stays. Like, stay. Okay.
So
okay.
Then what you're going to do is you're going to take the entire unit and you're going to rotate it 180. Then you're going to fold this up to where it's going to meet at the bottom, keeping your left edge square. And then if you have your bone folder. Hey, Jen has joined. Welcome.
Hello.
And
I'm just
then
write this down really quick.
And then you're just going to fold it over, and then you're going to turn it over, and this little piece here, which is what seals it, is what you fold over. And that's where you put your stamp.
I like it. I like the Mennonite fold. All right. I'm not. By the way, Russ, I'm updating the titles for these once I put them on YouTube to put the name of the project that we worked on.
Cool.
So might make them a little easier for folks to search through them rather than just put the name and the date. So trying to make them a little more descriptive so we can actually like use them for archival purposes.
No, I think that's great, especially for a search feature.
Yeah.
So Sen from Disneyland has joined. Welcome.
Hey guys.
Nola
evening.
from Nolans is here. Welcome.
Cool. Welcome.
And then what you do is just simply open it back up. You would put whatever it is that you want to send inside, and then just refold. And then you would be able to mail it. And then everything is covered.
So for you guys who just joined, Russ is actually demoing the Mennonite fold of paper. So you can take one standard size, what was it, 8.5 by 11 inch piece
8.5 by 11.
And yeah, cool.
Yeah, and then if you want it's whatever side's on the underside is the side that will eventually be on the outside. So if you want to do it in reverse, so when they open it up, they see the design, you can do that as well, and then it'll give you a white background to write and address this. And this would be able to go through the mail. So, so yeah.
With one first class stamp and you're there, right?
And you're there. You're exactly right.
Awesome.
And then, like I said, for me, it's another way to send out a postcard to have it somewhat protected.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, now, in this case, it would be usually a blank postcard. Ashley's here. Welcome, Ashley. Ashley, I am making envelopes. So granted, whatever the postcard won't, I know Frank likes his postcards to be marked and postmarked and everything like that. But this is for somebody that I'm sending a blank postcard to for their collection, or a postcard that you want to keep, um, pristine. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm sure that you could put more than one postcard in here. So
That's great for, I know Frank doesn't like these, but that's great for swaps too. See, because
it
I listened
is.
to that episode. Frank's not a fan of swaps.
No, but it is, and it's just it's a great way to use scrap paper, use paper that you may not have
Right.
another use for, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it's a great way to send blank postcards in, or something you want to protect. So that is 8.5 by 11. Will get you a 4 by 6. Frank says
He's
he
like, I don't
don't swap.
swap. We know.
Um,
I listened
and
to
then
that
what?
episode.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat doing the same thing, so you can just continue watching, and then just get smaller and change the variation. So I'll tell you what size paper you'll need to do the variation I'm doing. But they're all folded the exact same way, and it's all 1.5 inch from the left that your first fold will be. Okay?
Okay. And now that I've thrown I don't know if you guys can see this with the lighting, but I have thrown a layer of a glitter acrylic. I used the Folk Art Glitterific, one of my favorite acrylic glitter paints here, and this has some gold hues in it. But this was my circle postcard from last night. So this is just a bunch of little overlapping circles, and I used this is a McGill Creativity paper punch, circle punch, and that is what I ended up with. So I've got a bunch more of these little circles cut out. So I need to run upstairs really quickly, and I need to get one more postcard, a piece of cardstock, because somehow I forgot to bring my cardstock downstairs before I jumped on this thing. So I will be right back, guys.
So the next one that I'm going to be working on, this little piece of card, is 4.25 by 3 1/8. So Frank is saying that you can easily send 4 postcards that way in the Mennonite fold for 1 ounce. You're absolutely right. I think that's a great way to send them out. Some of you may remember, I know Frank does, and I know Ashley and Jim, we did an episode where I talked about sending out these little love notes, right? So these are notes that are left anonymously in public places for people to use with a little description of what they're to be used for. And so these are notes that you can leave in lunch boxes and jackets and coats, or in a book. So what I wanted to do was to do something similar with these little offcuts that I have from my holiday cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these with paper and
Ooh.
leave these randomly as love notes. So and so that's what I'm going to be using this scrap for. So also, while you're away, I did an episode with Frank talking about these little cards, these little note cards that I make
Yes.
with just a little punch, a handheld punch, and some offcuts of card that I have. And so what I would do is I would leave these in public places anonymously for people to use once they found them. And they're just little cards that you can put in someone's lunchbox, under someone's pillow, in someone's coat, just little notes of your affections, or just a little pick me up note.
Those
And
are
so that's
cool.
what you
Yeah,
miss while
man.
you're
Way to
away.
spread positivity and optimism and just
Yeah,
good
yeah. And so what I
vibes,
do is
good
I go to
energy.
public libraries and I put them in books. I go to grocery stores and put them in like in the cereal aisle and all kinds of things like that. And just with a little explanation of what they are, and whoever finds them gets to use them.
Now, see, if I did those, I mean, they would be optimistic, but I would just do weird ones. Like I would put something like near the Raisin Bran, like May you have an accelerated day. May
Well, no,
your
these are
life be
left
full of
blank.
velocity. Oh, they're
No, so these are left
blank.
blank so that whoever finds them can use them for their own purposes.
Ah, okay. Okay, okay. So you're not curating any like messages. You're just putting a blank.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
So, but
never
what I'm going to do is I
mind.
had these left over from my holiday cards, and so I'm going to do the same thing with the Mennonite fold. So,
I like my idea. All right. Back to the circles. Back to the circles. Thank you, Phil. I'm glad you thought those were funny. No, but I would be the one who like makes like a weird comic or like just like a weird saying on a piece of paper and stick it someplace that, someone finds it and they're like, what is the context for this? This is weird. That's just my jam. I like doing random stuff like that.
you're saying you like to be weird? Is that what's going on? You like to be
Yeah,
weird in public?
I'm just an odd duck. And I have like a very dry, a
Sense of
dry
humor?
sense of
Who would have ever
humor.
told that?
I don't know, but my sense of humor is dry and slightly off. So the things that I laugh at and I find hilarious, people are like, "What are you laughing about?" I'm like,
Patty says that she would
nothing.
leave them. She would leave them by the granola or like the raisin bran section with the comment, "May you have a regular day." So you and Patty are definitely kin
I mean, I
spirits,
can think of
kindred.
so many ways like you could spin that for different things in the grocery store or like in a CVS. Yeah, I
So
feel like
Frank, you're
that's something that would get me into trouble.
so Frank, are you asking what this fold is here? If that is yes, then that is 1.5 inches from the left side. So that's the very first fold, and then the rest of it is just meeting that there, measuring what it is that you want to keep inside to make sure you have enough room. And this is just barely enough. And then you just 180, fold this back up, keeping in mind that you want to keep this flush. But didn't you folks ever do those little secret notes and stuff like that you folded up in school and stuff?
Yeah, but
Or is
I
that
was the
just
one that got caught.
okay?
Like I would write notes during like especially if we had a substitute teacher, because everybody would get all jazzed up like, "Yes, it's a substitute. We can do whatever we want." But then I was always that person that would write like an obnoxious note and then at one point the substitute found it and she's like, "Give me the note. I'm going to read it in front of the class." And I was like, "Oh god." Yeah, I was that kid. I was that kid.
Yeah, I was the one that wrote in secret code and everything, or used lemon juice, or all those kind of things. But I also failed an essay because I wrote it backwards, and the nun didn't want to have to read it in the mirror.
Oh, that's clever. I like
Yeah.
that.
So we're getting all kinds of suggestions for these random love
Okay,
notes.
wait. I have to
Jen
look
is
at
saying,
these.
"Let's talk about it."
Yes.
Patty says that they had to learn sign language because the teacher moved their seats.
Ah, see, that's hard. Yeah, I was the one. I was always the one that was like getting separated from the others. Like, you can't sit near those people. You're like you're distracted. It was like it was weird because as a high school student, it was like National Honor Society, cool, A student. But then my mom was getting pissed because we kept getting progress reports home like, does not pay attention, is disruptive in class. My mom's like, how can you be disruptive and not pay attention but still get all A's? And I'm like, I'm bored. I was that kid. Just saying. It wasn't until college when I was able to like take on like double majors and stuff like that that I finally hit my stride and I stopped being a pest, stopped being a troublemaker. True story.
I successfully got us out of math class because I set off the fire alarms.
Ooh, oh my goodness. Okay, I don't know if I've ever pulled a fire alarm
I
necessarily, but
didn't. I was in calculus class, and I didn't like the teacher because she was always making fun of me. So I got one of those Big Ben alarm clocks. I don't know if, but it's the ones that keep on ringing and get louder and louder until you turn it off.
oh my God.
So yeah. So I got to class early and took the alarm clock and put it in the acoustical ceiling tiles. So I lifted up the tile, put it in the overhead, and then put the tile back, and set it to go off about 15 minutes into the class. So it starts going off, and the teacher's like, "Everyone, be quiet." And so we're all quiet, And she goes, "Do you hear that?" And we're like, "No, no, Mrs. Heron, we don't hear it." And so, so she goes back to the board, and about 10 minutes later, it's like ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. It's getting really loud. And she goes, "Do y'all hear that?" And we go, "No, Mrs. Heron, we don't hear anything." And she listens, and she goes, "It's a bomb! It's a bomb! Clear the building! Clear the building!"
Oh my God. Okay, I've never done that. The only thing I can think of that was kind of like close to like a coordinated classroom mutiny type thing. The old Altoids, or no, Sucrets. The little metal cough drop tins that had like the little piece of paper in there, and then they had the cough drops inside.
Okay.
We used to we would eat the cough drops because you needed the tin for something, right? So, and this is parochial school. This was me in like maybe 4th or 5th grade, but you'd eat as many sucrets as you could, and then you had an empty vessel with which to pass notes. So then you'd write something. So for example, like start coughing at 11:45. And so, you'd go to your neighbor, they'd be like, "Hey, can I have a cough drop?" So you'd give them the tin. They'd open it up, they'd peek at it. Okay, they know what time to start coughing. And so the box of cough drops would circulate its way around the classroom. And like whatever the cue was, if it was like start coughing or start dropping your pencils or whatever, everybody would start doing it on cue at the same time. It was a glorious thing. And yeah, that was parochial school. So.
I just got $5 in the mail with my envelope.
What? Why? How?
I was just demonstrating how you can make a money envelope.
And how did you get this money?
I robbed a bank.
Okay. You're like, "I just found money." I'm like, that's cool, man.
I keep on forgetting I'm not in frame. Sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
See, this is why you have to do your Sunday show. So that we can see your facial expressions.
Like, whoopsie.
Oh, good.
Not in frame.
Oh, good.
So the only difference about this one, because it is longer than it is narrower than long, right? So it's wider than tall. You just want to make sure that in this bottom area here that you cover up, you at least go far enough to cover up this space. So you don't want any white space there. So you actually have to make sure that you, which means that you're going to go a little further up past the card or past whatever it is you're going to put in the envelope. Jim just finished the Ladybug coloring page.
Cool beans.
I love ladybugs.
They remind me of spring and, the approach of summer, and it's, yes. As long as they're not like those, there's fake ladybugs. You know the ones I'm talking about? Like where you look at it, you're like, "Oh, look at the little lid." Oh, it's not a ladybug. And it's like this weird pale yellow color, and they look kind of messed up, and like they're not really ladybugs. Anybody know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
They're like an imposter bug. They look like ladybugs, but they're really not. I'm not actually sure what they're called, but every so often I come across one and I'm like, "Hey, oh no, it's not. Never mind." I'm like, "Oh nah, it's
okay,
not a ladybug."
So this was for the money card. It is a 9x11 piece of paper. For those of you who are asking, And that's how you would secure it, like that.
Patty has seen the ladybugs. All right, so Patty Wax says that they get in her house as well. So she's picking up what I'm throwing down. She knows what I'm talking about.
Okay, so let me go back. Let's see. Why can't I scroll? There we go. So Ashley says, on Sunday, could you use one device to show your hands and desk and the second device to show your face?
Like you
I'm
like split streaming yourself.
uh, yes, maybe. I'm trying to figure out how I do that. So, which would mean that I would have to, I guess, use my iPad as the one that I would talk into, but I would have to figure out how to prop that up for that to have for that to be able to work. But yeah, I got to figure a couple of things out. So I've just now figured out how to continue going back and forth between this view and the face view by rotating my camera and my photo arm that I have here. Just as a refresher, for the 4x6 card, it was an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. For the smaller, and that will give you the 4x6. For the smaller one, it was a 6x9. And then this one was 9x11 to get the money card. So, but actually, I am working on it, and I've got some things to work on to see how I can do that. Oh my gosh, all the puns from Ashley.
I'm missing puns. Darn it.
Yep. Patty is picking up what you are art throwing down.
Oh, that's awesome. Walked right into that one, didn't I?
And Jen says that they would be covered in ladybugs and fake ladybugs. It was a computer sunroom.
A computer sunroom.
So Ashley, thank you for having faith in me. I think it's probably misplaced when it comes to technology, but we'll see what we can do.
A computer sunroom. So a little sunroom where you keep like your plants and stuff, and you just put your bring your laptop in there. Is that what I'm thinking, Jen? Computer sunroom. All right, I'm scrolling back up so I can catch context. And Janet says they have the fake ladybugs in Texas as well. I don't know what they're called. They're just like a pale, I don't know, pale yellow color, but they kind of have dots on them, it looks like ladybug spots.
But not stink bugs, though, are they?
No, they're literally the size of a regular ladybug, but they're just not that beautiful, like red shiny with the black dots. They're like a pale off looking color.
You got me.
Mm-hmm. And Ashley says that we have faith in you, Russ. All right.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's probably misplaced when it comes to technology. I'd still be using floppy disks if I could.
I
A lot
miss
of you aren't old enough to even remember what floppy disks were.
I miss zip disks. Do you guys remember zip disks?
I do.
Yes. Zip disk. Yeah.
I still use thumb drives.
So do I.
Okay.
Those are good as like little backups, you know? Want to pop some files on there?
Allison, Phil wants to know what you double majored in college.
Spanish literature and business administration. The Spanish was more because Spanish lit was more of like not a hobby, but it was more my artistic, like my artsy side. And business because I don't know. I guess I'm a capitalist, so hence I was a business major. So it was kind of the best of both worlds for me at the time.
Yeah. Janet says they're actually a beetle,
Oh, are
and they do
they?
stink when you kill them. See, because in Texas we used to call them stink bugs, the ones I'm thinking about.
Okay.
Yeah. And Jen says that she thinks that the non-red ones are the female ladybugs.
Oh.
I don't know.
Theories abound on this one.
So yesterday I talked to you about, well, I showed you, well, I didn't show you, I talked to you about doing those daily quotes and things on the planners.
Yes.
So I just wanted to illustrate some of the kinds of things that I was talking about. And this is one of my flip books. And so let me get this in frame. There we go. So this obviously is the month of June. And then what I do is I do backgrounds, and then I take quotes that I like, and then just letter them in.
Cool.
Yeah.
What kind of paper is that you've got there for the paper?
This is just a regular, this is an off-white, but this is just regular all-purpose paper.
Okay.
A multimedia paper is what I was trying to say. Prairie Winkle is here. Welcome.
Hello, welcome back. I think Prairie Winkle has joined us in the past. Sounds like a Prairie Winkle. Yeah, the username sounds familiar. Yeah.
And so this technique that I work on, this is done with crayons, and then this is done in relief. So this is what I put a stencil underneath the page and then do the crayon on top.
That is yet another cool use of stencil that I never thought about. So
Yeah.
stencil as a relief in the background.
Yeah, it's just like they used to do those cemetery rubbings and those religious rubbings. So it's the same kind of technique. I like this one. Failure is a bruise, not a tattoo.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. But I have all of these kind of books with all these motivational quotes in them, and I get a lot of them off the internet. And when I had a Flickr account, I would do all those because I would get those little quote a day kind of things. And so, yeah.
Once again, I'm impressed by like just the consistency with which you can keep art journals and just journals in general. I am not that disciplined, so I always am impressed by people who are.
Well, I think, I mean, it's a long-winded answer, but when I was young, I had a traumatic event and I lost the ability to speak. So I couldn't communicate. And so the only one of the ways that I could communicate was through writing. So that's how I started my journal when I was 10, is because I was unable to speak and I had to learn how to speak all over again. And my speech therapist, which is why I say I pronounce words funny sometimes. Like sometimes I'll still get caught saying aluminium instead of aluminum, or, category instead of category, or, because sometimes I still have to sound out the words. So, yeah. So, and it was just a coping strategy, and I just kept up with it. So, but this is Pride Month, so this is one of the ones. Never apologize for who you are.
And was that the stencil as well that you have in the background?
What's that?
Did you use the stencil for that one as well?
I did.
For the relief?
It's a little fence stencil.
I like that. It looks really good.
So that's what I'm going to be doing with those others. But it's a great way to practice your hand lettering. Um, so I have fake names that I learned the hand letter. I write out all of the states in alphabetical order, and just to practice. Thanks, Nick. It's just I try to, one of the things I like about writing postcards and writing letters, it makes me slow down because you can't write fast and still be legible, at
That's
least in my
true.
case.
Yeah, it's kind of a
So,
lesson in Zen.
yeah. And so that's why I love, Frank and I both share this um, passion for fountain pens. It's very difficult to rush writing with a fountain pen. And it really does force you to slow down and worry about your nib angle and all those kind of things when you're working with a fountain pen. So yeah, it's a nice way for me to slow down, and that's why the last hour of my day is reading. And right before I read, I write in my journal, and I still handwrite in my journal. Sometimes I write about all you folk, though.
Cool.
No, I write about the one most significant thing of the day because I only allow myself one page to write. If it doesn't get said by the end of the page, it doesn't get said. Because each day is only one page, so I have to pick the topic and my words very carefully. Ashley says that your circle postcards look like quilts, cozy. Um,
Yeah. Oh man, I dig that. It's yeah. So here's I'll put my little lamp on again so you can see. Actually, wait, no, that doesn't help. Hold on, it's not helping at all. Maybe like this. Look at these. So this is what they'll basically look like once I have I do a layer of Mod Podge. Well, first I do all my little overlappies here. So here's my little overlapping circles. I trim the edges so you've got like a 4x6. I Mod Podge this bad boy, and then I add my glitter, my acrylic glitter. And then at some point, maybe later tonight or tomorrow, I will take and put a piece of this. Where is this cheapy paper that I've got from Dollar Tree? Ah, here it is. Big scratch pad. Best dollar I ever spent. And they've got all different, different colors. I've pulled a lot of the pinks out because I used them on my Duncan postcards, but I'll probably put blue or light green or something on the back here just so that it kind of looks like it has the edges framed. But yeah, so that's the dealio with this little collage of circles.
so Phil, getting back to your question much earlier in the broadcast, I would, if it were me, I would get a pack of solid color cardstock and then get a pack of paper that it has pattern on it so that you can mix and match. Now, if you really want to get into it, I would buy one of each. So you buy one cardstock that's colored. You buy one cardstock that has pattern, and then you do the same thing for the solids, so that you can have a total mix and match of the combinations that you can make. And there are any number of inexpensive card packs out there and paper packs out there. So yeah, and just and if you don't find out it's not your cup of tea, there are any number of people that will either receive it on your behalf or buy it from you, I'm sure. So especially here, following along on the Art Throwdown. So that's what I suggest. If from a conversation that you and I had, I know you if you want us to send you something to start off with first to see if you like it, I certainly can do that for you as well. So if that's something
Yeah,
you'd be
same.
interested, just let me know. I can send you samples of things you can try your luck at first, see if you like it, and then you can buy your own. But so yeah,
Yep.
Patty said that's actually a cool idea to make a quilt style postcard.
Ooh, like a little patchwork of papers, which I guess in a way a collage technically is that, but yeah, so I didn't really think about the quilt angle until Ashley brought that up.
Well, that's like like those crazy quilts. where they take all the different kinds of pieces of fabric that's left over and they, make a crazy quilt out of them. So yeah. But all of you folks keep all this stuff in mind for Friday because it's all going to be applicable for Friday. So
what you're saying is that I should probably cut out some more circles before Friday, huh?
it doesn't have to be a circle.
Okay. Now I'm going to Mod Podge.
We have 8 minutes remaining.
What? This every night. It does this to
I
me
know.
every night. And I'm always shocked. I'm like, how does this happen?
Sorry, Jim, I took your job. I'll let you give the 3-minute warning. How about that?
Here you go.
So what's everyone else working on? Ashley, why were you late for? I'm glad everyone made it, but yes, thank you. So have we tentatively scheduled the Gen reboot yet?
No, we have not yet. And in fact, it's a good thing we brought this up. I do not know that I will be awake at 10 o'clock tomorrow night because I'm getting up early the next morning to go drive to go see my parents. So, remember how that time we talked about Russ, you potentially hosting some of these?
You mean host tomorrow? I'll host.
Yeah,
Yep, no
because I
worries.
just I'm gonna have to probably get to bed like at 9, so I can get up super crazy early before dawn and drive.
Okay, folks. Well, you heard it here. Look for me tomorrow to go live, and then we will proceed as usual. Let's see. Patty says she got some cheaper watercolor pencils and was playing around with them. Cool. Are you coloring something in, or are you just playing around? And then a lot of coloring tonight. Janet says that she's coloring a mandala.
Ooh. Those are one of my favorite things to look at when people share their projects is mandalas.
Ashley, that just makes me laugh. Ashley says she was late because she was on the phone giving her mother tech support on her computer. Face palm. I didn't have the heart to tell her that I need to hang up to go to the throwdown. But that's funny. Nick is crocheting a shawl. Oh, that's cool.
And some of the projects, just for the record, that Nick has put up there, I'm like, oh my god, how did she make all of that within the hour of throwdown? So like, I have to say, she is a very efficient crocheter, if that's a word, crochetist.
Patty Wack drew a peacock and a flower. Pam is making another tumbler. This one for Araya.
Ooh.
That bat, that yellow, the baseball bat looking one that you did the other day over the weekend, I was coveting that. Jen's working on a birthday card, watercolor and crayon resist. Zoe, I think she means, ooh, Pam, what color? Yeah. Oh, okay. Because she said poo, Pam. I'm like, I don't think that's what she means. Yeah, Zoe, it's like, it was in yellows. The one that she's working on now is pink for Araya. The one I was referring to was a yellow and brown. It looks almost like a baseball bat. It was really cool.
Wow, got a very creative group of folks out there tonight.
Very productive group tonight.
Yes, extremely. Extremely. Well, good on all of you guys for being out there and hopping in here and working diligently on your craft projects.
And I am diligent working on a watermelon Jolly Rancher. Cool. And I'm not biting down.
Don't lock your jaw up.
Exactly.
I can't eat Now and Laters or even Starburst, but
I can't eat those gelatin ones like the hot tamales. Those kind of ones are the sweetest fish.
Oh, those hot tamales taste terrible.
Oh, I love them. I love cinnamon.
Oh.
I love cinnamon.
Are you talking like the round cinnamon red hots? Like they're like this big?
Those two, I like those. But the red hot, I mean, the hot tamales are like a
They look like pills, right? Like little capsules.
yes, yeah, but they're like
Okay.
gummies. So I can't do
Yes.
those gummy things because they get in my dental work. Just like I'm not supposed to eat popcorn either, but try to keep me off of popcorn. It's not going to happen.
You're like, shove it, buddy. I'm eating
Oh, I love
popcorn.
popcorn. Yeah.
Can't keep me away from my popcorn. Actually, we have a running joke in this house that I have popcorn aggression. So if there's a giant bowl of popcorn, if I'm eating out of that popcorn bowl and somebody else starts to approach me, I become very territorial. And I usually tell the person, whether it's my husband or my kids, it may be like a massive bowl. I'm like, I only made enough for myself. Go get your own. So I'm like, get away from my bowl. So
Now,
anyway.
do you use microwave popcorn or do you use
Air pop. No.
Okay.
Air pop only. No, 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 no. No
No, I
microwave.
do stovetop. I love making popcorn. I have the perfect recipe for making popcorn.
Stovetop popcorn? Yeah, I can talk. Stovetop popcorn?
Yeah.
So what's your secret? Do you use a cast iron thing with foil or?
No, I use Mike and Ike's Jim. Yes, the same thing as hot tamales, but different flavor. Absolutely. Popcorn aggression. People are laughing at you.
I do. My husband has accused me. He's like, you have popcorn aggression. I'm like, I know. Like, just let's not talk about it. Don't talk about it.
So we'll maybe I'll share the popcorn recipe tomorrow because we only have Jim. You're falling down on a job here. Yeah, Patty Whack. Yes, tune in tomorrow and I'll give you my popcorn recipe.
You know what I think, Russ? I think we should make a postcard out of your popcorn recipe and then send it around. How about that?
Well, I got to do my cornbread recipe first, and then the popcorn recipe.
Recipe
But
postcards.
mine is almost a fail-safe popcorn recipe that leaves you as few orphans as possible.
Really? Okay,
Yep.
so there's a trick to that. I never knew that there was a technique to avoid
Yeah, there
that.
is.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course everyone knows what the orphans are, right? Those are the little unpopped kernels in the bottom.
Or pop knots. I have
Oh,
heard
is that
them.
what you call them?
Yeah, that's what I've heard them called before, pop knots. Like they just
Okay.
did not pop. So therefore they're still the little kernels.
Yeah, maybe that was a Catholic thing. Maybe that's why we call them orphans.
Maybe.
Yeah. Because they're all left behind. But anyway, and Patty Whack wants the tortilla recipe.
Ashley calls them
Wow.
old maids.
Old
I
maids.
love
Oh my
that.
gosh.
That's hilarious.
Well, folks, it's that time of night. Thank you for joining. You always have choices of where you are on the weeknights. So we're glad that you spend that time with us. And thanks. That's all I can say. I mean, that's all I have. We do appreciate you joining in, and we do appreciate your company.
And I made a postcard. So, yay. Thank you,
And I made
guys.
envelopes.
Yay. All right, so Russ, you made envelopes, Mennonite fold envelopes, and I made circle collage postcards. So, cool. All
And
right.
we learned about popcorn.
And we learned about popcorn technique. I didn't know this was a thing, but apparently it is. So, more on that
So
soon.
you'll have to talk with me. So do you want me to save the episode and send it to you?
For tomorrow, if you're able to, yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you just have to give me the instructions because I haven't done that yet. So
okay.
Okay, cool.
Gotcha. All right. Have a great night, guys. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.